couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to tell somebody, and you know, to that story, I ended up writing my mama a letter because he took my phone.
Yeah.
I could not even communicate. You know, I had to write my mama a letter, and I wrote it crazy on purpose. I told my mama I was going to kill myself. I just didn't want to live no more. And I wrote it crazy, but really those were the thoughts going in my head. Because I felt I had failed my children. I felt like I was less than a mother. I didn't even want my children to be around me no more because I felt like I had failed as a mother by, you know, keep being a fool for these men. You know what I'm saying? Keep on falling for these men, but don't blame yourself. If you're going through some abuse, get out of the relationship in a safe manner. Always have some safe people in your life. Always have people that you can, you know, have in that background that can be your safe people. Always have that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not encouraging anybody to live in fear, but always have safe people in your life. And first of all, if you really want to get direction, you know, take some time and be single and let God, you know, just heal your heart from all of that hurt, because until you heal, you'll keep attracting the same thing over and over and over and over. And that's what I did in my life, because I would just go from one situation to another situation, one situation to another situation. It's a saying that some people say the best way to get over one man is to get yourself another man. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Exactly. I agree with that.
That's a lie. Like, don't look, if anybody telling you that, you need to stop listening to them right now. Stop. Don't listen to them no more, because they leading you down the wrong path. And, you know, I don't know, some people, you may not believe in God. You may believe in Buddha, Allah, whatever your higher power is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Seek your higher power for that peace in your life and that clarity in your life. Get clear on who you are. And when you get clear on who you are, then you'll find your inner power, and you'll see that you'll attract better things into your life when you start to work on yourself. When I started to do personal development, I heard you talking about reading, and reading is very powerful. If you do not, readers are more than leaders. Readers are the best. Readers are the best breadwinners in the world. Readers are the best, the millionaires of the world. They read. They read. They read. And in this day and age, anything that we need to know is on the internet.
It's on the internet. It's like there's no one now. There's not no one that folks are not gonna tell you stuff anymore. You have to really dig down in the book, like you said, internet, and read, so you can be able to help yourself and help others. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to the point where we are reading and we're helping others. And my question is for you, when you was going through the abuse, do you feel like that from your first abuse until your other abuse, it got worse?
In ways, it did get worse, because with my ex-husband, we used to fight. Like, I wasn't, you know, it wasn't like he was just beating on me and I took it. I would fight him back. You know, like, I would just, like, because I was young, and I was like, no, dude, you're not going to do this. You know, I mean, the one time I can remember him, he put my head, I lived in the projects, and if anybody know anything about the project walls, project walls are not thin, okay?
No, they're not.
They got reinforced steel behind project walls.
We need them walls back.
Right, you know what I'm saying? This dude put my head through the project wall in my apartment, okay? Like, he literally, and I was 6 months pregnant with my son, and he put my head through the walls of the project, because at the time, my birth father had passed away, and he had a 76 Impala, and you know, guys love them cars back then. Like, a 76 Impala was like, what? And it was in immaculate condition, and he just, you know, he had, when he got that car and put rims on it and put beats in it, and he finna leave me and take my daddy's car. I was like, no, dude, no, that ain't gonna work. So me and him fighting, you know what I'm saying, and he put my head through wall in the projects, okay? And I'm fighting back at that point. You know, I done went and got some lighter fluid in a match, and I'm about ready to blow him up. I'm fighting back, but the more I began to deal with abuse, the weaker my will to fight got.
Wow.
It was like, I felt like I keep on attracting the same type of man, and I kept, you know, settling for, you know, temporary things. Like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this thing right here, and this may be a little taboo, you know, with ladies. Ladies, if you want a husband, you can't get you a kick it partner. You can't be Netflixing and chilling just all the time, because guess what's gonna happen? That man gonna label you as a kick it partner. He's not gonna label you as somebody that he has to invest in. I heard somebody say to me years ago that a man will do what you allow him to do. And I used to be like, wait a minute, I didn't allow nobody to beat me, but I did. Because when I met these men, I never had any standards to give them. I never lifted up my own standard and say, hey, I'm not going to go for this. I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to be the person that just goes for the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that standard set. And if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Anything, you know, and I'm like, you know, them dudes came to me and they told me anything. And I believed it because, for one, I wasn't reading. I didn't know anything to better myself. All I knew was, you know, not to down going to church, but even just going to church by itself, if you don't study the word for yourself, your pastor not with you Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. Just going to get the word on Sunday and getting a good feeling and leaving is not good enough. You got to sit down and read that word for yourself. You got to get a relationship with God for yourself in order for the bond. Okay, if you're trying to build a relationship with a man, you don't just not spend time with the man. It's the same way with the Lord. If you want a relationship with God, you have to spend time with him, but I wasn't doing that. You understand? I had completely forsaken that. So the abuse got worse and worse and worse. And then it went from different levels of abuse. I went from the physical abuse to the jealousy type of abuse. The man gonna act crazy because he jealous. You know, I talk about in my book, the man that bust all the windows out of my car, flat all of my tires, and put sugar in my tank.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Like, a man did that to me. Normally you hear women doing that to men, but a man literally bust every window out of my favorite Honda Accord. I love Honda Accords. Okay, every window of a car that I bought, that I paid my money for, he did not care. He was trying to hurt me. He wasn't going to hit me, but he was going to take something that was my ride to work. That was my ride everywhere. So he was just going to hinder me by tearing up my stuff.
And that's another kind of abuse.
And that's a whole different kind of abuse right there. Like, you know, he's trying to keep you to the point where you're going to have to call him and say, I need some help. And men do that. You know what I'm saying? Some, well, not all men. Some men do that, you know, and it's basically, you know, when you go through those types of situations, you really cannot go from one relationship to another one without healing. And although healing is a process, you need to be willing to take that time to process that. Because if you don't do it, you'll repeat the cycle over and over and over and over again. So back in about 2013, I was introduced to personal development. And I was introduced to some mentors in my life who taught me how to read, who taught me how to work on Bridget, who taught me how to pay attention to me, stop blaming everybody else for my problems, you know, because I played the blame game. It was everybody's fault but mine. Even though I knew I played a part in it, but I wanted to blame the men. You understand? I just wanted to say they was crazy. Them dudes was crazy. Even though they were crazy, I played a part in that crazy. And I had to own, like E. Young Man say, I had to own my stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I had to own my part in the craziness. And until I owned my part in that and said to myself, Bridget, you did not take responsibility for your actions. And so once I got introduced to personal development, my life started to change totally. I started to attract better people in my life. I started to attract better circles of people to come around me. And I got, got actually involved in the healing process and getting to know who I was as a woman, becoming a better mother, becoming a better, just better in my life all around, and since that time, I've been able to write 2 books, and I actually started my own publishing company last year, you understand? And I started my own publishing company, and been able, since November of last year, I have published 10 books.
Wow.
With authors coming, you understand? So when you get clear and you start to work on yourself, stop playing the blame game. Come up out of that mess, you know what I'm saying? You cannot grow in an environment that's not conducive to grow. If you want to grow any kind of seed in your life, the ground got to be good. You can't keep putting seeds in the concrete.
That's right. Thinking that you're gonna get some good soil, some good fruit. You ain't gonna get nothing.
You're not gonna get anything. You understand it? And then you can't change a man. Like, I don't care if the man say I ain't gonna do it no more. I ain't gonna hit you no more. And you gotta leave that man alone. Because if he hit you one time, I promise you he'll hit you again.
Almost.
And that's just, I done heard it so many times. I ain't gonna do it no more. I love you. I ain't gonna do it no more. Love is not about a fist to your face. Love is not him cheating on you with 6 different women. Love is not him tearing up your stuff so you don't have nothing. That's not love.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's not love.
And the thing about abuse, it had to come from somewhere. They had to be abused some kind of way, and and that was their way of communicating and controlling you,
right?
And controlling because of their abuse, and not knowing that, not knowing that they curate you of being the abuser. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you start fighting back with them. You start trying to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that turned you into the abuser, but then you had to look at yourself and like, okay, this ain't gonna work. And I am so glad that you got out of that situation, because you could have died.
Absolutely. Like, the high point of my story, I haven't even wrote a book about this, but I do share this. In December of 2008, December 8th of 2008, I was dating a guy. I had been dating him for 2 years, and I had just got a new apartment, moved in Stone Mountain. I worked at the Waffle House forever, and I was working that morning, and me and him had been in an argument because I basically told him that it was rent time. He didn't have his money for the rent, and I basically had told him he had to leave my house because he did not have his money for the rent. And it was not a surprise because I even showed him the lease. When I signed the lease, I said, you see, you're not on this lease, right? And I let him know everything up front, but that didn't matter to him because I told him that he had to leave my house. That day, he decided that I had to die. That day, after I got off work at 2 o'clock. I got home about 3 o'clock. And I go into the kitchen and I get on the phone with my girlfriend and I'm talking to her about how he has blown my phone up the whole day at work. And he just calling me. And I'm busy because I work the morning shift and I could not stop and talk to him on the phone in Waffle House. Waffle House is packed. We got folks everywhere. And I'm like, he tripping, girl. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I'm just on the phone doing the girlfriend talk, girl. He crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him. And I turn around and he is standing behind me.
Wow.
I didn't even know he came in my house. I turn around and he's standing behind me. So because he came in like that, he kind of shook me. But then I hang up the phone. I get off the phone with my girlfriend because I'm thinking we finna just talk. Well, when I hang up the phone with her, he says to me, I told you about playing with me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he knocks me to the floor. And he gets on top of my chest. I'm short, so he's taller than me, and he pins me across my chest. I can't move. All I'm doing is kicking, and he's across my chest, and he took his hands around my neck, and he just began to squeeze. And he squeezed